Good morning, everyone. My name is Lytle, and I'll be hosting Mortgage Coaches Training Thursday. And today what we're going to do is cover the rent versus own report and really dive deep into it. But before we go into it, what I would like to do is do a couple polls. This allows us to know where you're at in EDGE, so we know really what to present to you. So let's go ahead, Marcy, and go ahead and launch our first poll question. So have you created a rent versus own report before? Have you used these for any of your partners or your borrowers? So if you could go ahead and vote, we need to get to 75% voting, and then we'll go ahead and close out the poll. So please open up and respond to our poll. We appreciate it. So it looks like we have a couple people who have, but right now the highest percentage, 64%, have not. So that's great. We're going to go ahead and walk through that process with you. So Marcy, let's go ahead. Perfect. And let's launch our next poll. And with this poll, have you recorded the video using your mobile device? So this is our new feature we've added to the mobile. And you can see on the screen on my iPad, I have a record video. So let me know if you have done that. Well, 91%. All right. Looks like a couple of you might have done the video. Great. If you have recorded the video, go ahead and open the question area and go to meeting. Let me know, was it easy for you to be able to use? How was it? And your response from the borrower. So great. Next poll. So we had 87% who have not. So our next poll question. At the end of the call, just to let you know, we will go through that mobile piece and show you how to record a video with that. So our last, okay, what device, so we can see what device you're using. I am going to be showing the Apple device, the iOS, but no worries, it's very simple, works the same on an Android as well as we also have the Kindle. So, okay, 60% of you are using an Apple and 40 of you are Android. I have both. I have my iPad as well as an Android phone. So. Okay, and then our last one is the coaching call. How many were on the coaching call this last Tuesday? We had a great call, which I'll show you in just one moment. And they discussed renting, and they have a lot of facts in there that you would be able to use. So I'll show you about that on the coaching call. So, okay, 62% of you were on that. That's great. So this will relate with that call, so you'll be able to have that. All right, Linda, that's great. Linda put in the question area, she's used the mobile for recording and she had no troubles recording. So that's great to hear, Linda. That's perfect. So, okay, so for those of you who are new to Training Thursday, what we do is go through different scenarios, help you learn how to build in EDGE. It's also or with that, we answer questions. So if you have any kind of questions of what I'm doing or any other types of questions of what ifs, put in the question area and we'll go ahead and get those answered for you. And Molly's asking a question, is it possible to get the handouts from Tuesday's call? I was actually going to ask Marcy that earlier, and I know we usually do get those, Molly, so I'll find out. Maybe at the end of the call we'll be able to answer that for you. So with Tuesday's call, I have it pulled up. We had Nikki Groff and Steve Harney on the call. So it started out with Steve Harney, who was on our call a couple weeks ago, and he provided some additional follow-up facts. And what he was doing is showing different percentages of the gap in the family rent from renting versus home ownership. And there's a lot of other graphs, and I believe this is what you're talking about, is being able to receive these handouts, and that's what I'm trying to get as well. So that will be an asset. But to get to our coaching calls, all you need to do is press the help button in EDGE. It will take you to our coaching, or it'll take you to our knowledge base, and this is what it first looks like. What's our homepage? Let's go. And you'll see that we have many video tutorials, but we also have the event calendar, and we also have our coaching call archive. Our event calendar, so if you're new to EDGE, this is where you can find all our events, and we have a lot of training. So besides the different coaching calls that we're having, we have our Training Thursday. Friday is a great introduction class if you're a beginner. And we also have Mortgage Coach University. That's a 101 and 102. And just let me click on the link so you'll be able to see the different types of topics we're going to be covering. This also allows you to be able to see what you'll be able to do within Edge. So it's a good idea. Come in here and take a look and do that. And okay, perfect. Thank you, Marcy. Marcy, also for that call for Steve Harney and Nikki Groff. If you look in the handout section of GoToMeeting, we went ahead and put in the Nikki Groff's Modern Marketing and also Steve Harney's information as well. So it is in the handout section, and you can also email us at support@Mortgage Coach, and we can get you that information as well. So let's go ahead. Okay. Oh, okay, great, Dave. Dave was saying he had the handout, so I'm happy to email him. So thank you. I appreciate helping us out there. So that's great. So you'll be able to use the skills. Definitely listen to this, and you'll be able to position yourself for that rent versus own for those new homeowners. So now what I want to do is let's take a look at our report. So this is the rent versus own report that I created in Edge. And so what this is allowing me to do is to reach out to those new home buyers. So a lot of home buyers don't really understand the full benefits of owning a home. They just see it's a money pit. So what you could do is be able to help educate them through a rent versus own report. And you can see, let me go ahead and clear out my highlights. So what I'm going to do is highlight fields on this report, and then I clear it just by pressing the clear all button at the bottom center, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. Right-hand side, just want to point out there's a save and a print button. There's also a share button where you can easily grab that link, copy it, and place it in your email or share it with another if you're on the desktop. What I'm doing is I'm placing that link in the chat area. So if you want to go ahead and open that up on your screen, click on it, and then when I'm going through this report, I will drive the report as it with Edge Live. So you could experience what that borrower is experiencing. So let me go ahead, bring back my iPad a little bit. Let's talk about the rent versus own so we understand what we're going to create and what we can provide our borrowers. Oh, good. David Barnes says Nikki's handout is great. So I'm glad that it works out. Her call was good and provided a lot of insight just to workflows and such. So really enjoyed both their calls. So with the report, we have in our summary area here. So in that, we're providing rent. So they're paying a total of payment of $1,525 for their rent. So then when they get a mortgage, you can see how that payment may be higher. So I'm just using a $350,000 loan amount or sales price. And the way you could find out is just click on that more info button, just pointing out different areas on the report. And in the payment breakdown, you could see that I was completely wrong. It's $300,000, not $350,000. So this is tells you that sales price. So that's where you can find that out. And then with that, I have my FHA product. I want to be able to show them. It's only 3.5% down. I have my VA, and it has 0 down. My USDA, another product, if it's available, is also 0 down. And then I'm providing them a conventional 5% down. This is just providing the realtor as well as the borrower just examples of different loan types because they're not quite sure of what they qualify for yet. And with this rent versus own, what you could do, not just with the borrower, you could send this to a realtor and show them services that you could provide that borrower that would be able to help. Okay, yes, Jamie, I am going to go through it, but first I just want to explain the concept of the report, and then we're going to go in and actually create it. So give me a few more minutes, and then we'll dive in and we'll show you how to create the report. So compared to the TCA and a rent versus own, what you're comparing is the savings of the net benefit. So you can see that they have a rent payment, and then you see their P&I payments and also mortgage and taxes, the full payment for each of the products. But what you don't get a benefit with renting is the interest and MI write-off, or there's no MI write-off, the interest write-off. So what we have done is provided just the standard deduction, and I have this as a single person, and it's just the standard deduction. But then once you have a home, you no longer have that standard deduction, but now you have write-offs, and you can write off things slightly differently. And now that's what this is taking into account. So you can see how that benefits. So from that payment, yes, it's more, but I just received $300 that I get a benefit on my taxes. And not only that, I have principal paid. So I'm building wealth by paying toward principal, which I don't have when I rent. So you're building equity, you're getting a tax benefit, and you'll be able to really explain that to the borrower if they don't understand these two benefits. So then on the upper right-hand corner, here's our net monthly payment. So what we do is we take that payment and we go ahead and reduce it, the tax benefit and the principal paid. And then we get the end result and we do our comparison. So you can see, even though it's a higher payment, once you provide those benefits, you're actually paying less than that rent versus own on each of those products. So that's what we're showing on the rent versus own report. Showing them, even though it's a monthly payment, you're actually gaining benefits from the tax write-off as well as the principal. So if you have any questions on that, go ahead and put in the question area. But now what I want to do is go ahead and dive into Edge and show you how to be able to create this report. Then once we're done with creating the report, if we have time, I'll walk through all the way through the mobile. I'll show you how to take the rent versus own, and you could create a TCA as well using the exact same information. So you could provide both those reports to the realtor or the borrower. You can also save the products and then create an open house flyer. So if we have time, I have a lot to go ahead and show you today. So let's go ahead and log into your Edge account. And even if you're not creating the report, log into your Edge account and follow the flow, get the hand motions, and get into Edge and get familiar. So what I have done is I have already created a rent versus own report. If you're creating one for first time, go ahead and click on New, and that will start that report process out. So I'm clicking on my file here, my rent versus own, and what you would want to do first off is just go ahead and put the name of the borrower and their phone number. The phone number is important because it does print on that email alert, and it's easily accessible to have that borrower's phone number or the realtor. With that, you have individual, or if you're doing it as a marketing piece, just claim it as marketing and you just get a report headline. That's the only difference between the two. So we went ahead and clicked on rent. That provides the rent versus own report, and you can see right next to it there's the own button. So that's how you can also produce a TCA. So depending on which report you want, you could go ahead and click on own, and then it'll become a TCA with a new link. So if you have any reports that are already created and you want a rent versus own, and it was initially a TCA, just click on that rent button, and I'll show you the fields that you need to additionally complete. So that's the flow on this. Moving on to our next screen, just to remind those who are new, the middle buttons will save your data. If you want to capture the goals of the borrowers, their first home, what they want to do, go ahead and capture those. I want to make this report quick, so I'm just bypassing that. Yes, Joyce. Joyce is asking if the tax benefit includes both the interest and the property tax estimate. And yes, it does. And if anyone wants the calculation behind what that benefit is, email us at support, and we have that written out for you, and we can provide that. So now once I've moved into our assumption screen, you can see how we have current rent and our annual rent increase. So I said my current rent is $1,500, which is roughly a single bedroom in Orange County. You have a one bedroom. You have an annual rent increase. I chose 3, but you can place 0, 1, whatever is in your area. I'm saying I have $25 monthly rentals insurance because pretty much if I'm renting, everyone's requiring me to have rental insurance. So place that in there. That's my monthly cost as well. If you have any additionals, that's an expense for renting that place. You would go ahead and place it in here. Next is your standard deduction. So how did I get this number here? What I have done is click on Find Standard Deduction. This will take you to a new web page. And to do that, you'll see Begin. And as you go through this process, and once you've done it a couple times, you can pretty much realize it's only a couple different numbers. So if you're in the same tax bracket area. So let's go ahead and continue. I want to show for 2014. I am single or unmarried. I'm continuing. I'm filing as single. Yes, it's a 12-month period. I know as you go through this, it comes really quick. What is my date of birth? I'm picking a random day. Let's see what month. Okay, July. I'm going to be 1970. How's that? Okay, let's continue. Provided on support. Yes, I did. I know quite a few questions, but you know, you are providing a little bit. No, I'm not blind. And this is providing that standard deduction at this is just that basic amount. So once you've reached this point in your tax benefit, then you can write off additional interest and taxes. So this is where I got that number. You'll start noticing if you're doing a lot of single in that particular bracket area, you'll be able to start seeing the numbers are pretty much the same. So I'm putting in 6,200 right here. That's where you saw that I got it. And then I'm going to go ahead and move on. If you have any questions on that, go ahead and place it in the question area. So with this, you're just providing details. If you want to capture the gross income, you could place it in here, and you can place in their non-mortgage debt. These two items are only providing you the debt-to-income ratio in your product screen. Ah, how funny I did that. Okay. Let me do one thing, just one moment, everyone. I had my Edge account open on my desktop, and I added a couple different products, and I had my Edge account open over here, and it didn't get my product. So let me go ahead and just log in, and if I didn't place those products in there, I'd be able to show you how. Just one moment. There we go. Let's see, did I get it? Woohoo, got all 4 products. So just to let you know, if you work on different desks like I did, make sure you close out of Edge. Don't have them open on both desktops. So what I'm going to do is bump over to our affordability screen where we left off. So again, debt to income, current or gross income, monthly debt, provide your debt to income and your products. Moving on, savings balance, savings interest rate. What this is just going to do is in your analysis, in the reinvestment strategy, it will provide you an estimate on that if they have enough cash to close. And we'll discuss that a little more in the analysis. And now the tax bracket. How did I find that tax bracket percentage? Again, click on Find Tax Bracket, another little button at the base, and it opens to a new web page, and this one's much simpler. So let's put in 2015. And what is their taxable income? So I'm saying mine is within this range. So it's 25%, and again, this is just an estimate that you're providing them. You know, they would need to go out to their tax advisor, so this is just an estimate. For those of you who do MCC credits, want to point out you can provide comparisons with those MCC tax credit loans, so do have that option. So if there's any questions, but if the rent versus own screen, you need to have that tax bracket, and that's the only thing you really need in this screen, so if you want to move through quickly. Let's move on, and goals, want to capture this, great, it's just data collection. I'm moving on and leaving those empty. And now I'm at my product. So if you're following along and creating a product, this is pretty much empty for you. You can see as we started out, a rent versus own is just a little bit more than the TCA in the sense of a little bit data input. You have to make sure you put in that a little additional rent information and our assumptions, as well as that tax benefit. So again, only about 5-6 fields you have to key in to create that report. Trying to drive in, it's easy. You can get in and just create this report rather quickly. Okay, so I put in our title. I'm just saying FHA 3.5% down. You just need to go ahead and make your titles, keep them to 12 characters. You'll also notice on my right-hand side that I have all my 4 products comparing side by side. If yours is empty, as soon as you fill out this information and advance the screen, you start that process of seeing the comparison. So you'll be able to be in Edge and comparing those products. So for those of you who are on an enterprise account, if you click on the drop down, you might see an FHA product template. If so, go ahead and choose it. If not, don't worry, you can create a template. I'll show you how. FHA, want to choose FHA because this will provide that upfront MIP field. So just put in my purchase price, down payment, rate, term. And if you're new and this part is just basic, but we do have that intro class on Friday that would help you with that a little bit more. On the right-hand side, you see that debt to income ratio. So in my affordabilities, I put in that gross, how much they income as well as their monthly debt. And then I have my LTV percentage. Next I have is my prepaid interest. I have my upfront MIP, so just click on that button and put 1.75, and this could be part of your default. So if you pull the template, this should be defaulted for you. I went ahead and put in 15 days of prepaid interest in here, so go ahead and put in whatever estimate you have. For now, I'm just comparing different rates and different products. So I'm not going to touch base on fees at this point. We do have a video tutorial on fees. I want to get through the rep versus own and the mobile. So if we have time and you want to go through fees, go ahead and put it in the question area. So moving on, this is our monthly cost. So I opened up my percentages and put my hazard estimate as well as my property tax and MI. So put this 0.85, that's your monthly factor for 3.5% down. So put that in there. Calculate MI. This is for USDA as well as FHA loans. Calculate MI for the Lytle loan and has that declining MI. And then 360 for the term for your cutoff. This will be also part of your default, or if you had a template and pulled it down, this should have filled out for you. Next, you just want to put in your hazard reserves number months and tax reserve months, and I'm going to collect 12 months premium. So that's basically the basic idea of keying in a product. So now we're going to move a little bit quicker through the other products here. So I did a VA zero down. A quick way of doing it, either use your templates or there's a copy from button. A copy from button will allow you to copy from a previous product and then modify it. So especially with fees, it will carry those fees over your monthly costs. It really saves time. So you could use that, pull it down, and then make your changes. You would open up your percentage, remove that 3.5% to make it 0, modify your rate. Upfront premium, make sure it says VA. That will do, as soon as we advance our screen, put in our funding fee. If you pull the template, you should have 2.15% there, or go ahead and put it in for your default as well as your prepaid interest. Moving on in our monthly costs, oops, let's update this. Here's 0.35, 1.25, and I'm removing my monthly mortgage insurance. So with that, I have 2 months reserve, 4 months taxes, 12 months premium. So we're done with this screen. So that's our second product. You see how much quicker it gets once you start keying them in. Now USDA, 0 down. Copy from, use that FHA product, bring it down. I'll go ahead and do it so you can take a look. You see how now I have 3.5% down. It copied all that information over. So I'm changing it to USDA. It changes the label for my premium. Let's go ahead and put 4.125 as my rate. Put 0 down. Advance my screen. For those of you who do USDA loans, I'm not at my desk, but I don't see my sticky. I think it's 2.25. You can correct me if I'm wrong, please. Put in that figure here. Once you have that, moving on, and I do know the monthly factor is 0.5. Calculate MI on balance, and then I have that 360 to carry that MI for the life of the loan, just like the FHA. 2 months reserve, 4 months, and then 12 months premium. green button, add another product, and then I just added a conventional 5%. So you can, again, copy from any particular product and then modify. I select none for my premium, updated it to 5% down, increase my interest rate. You notice because I have none chosen, my upfront premium is now removed, but I have my 15 days prepaid interest. And let's modify my costs. And I have 0.67. If it's a different amount, just let me know if you want to see a different figure in here. And there we go. That's how you create your product. So now we're into our rent versus own report. So in our rent analysis, we have some different options. We still in our long-term area, total interest and MI paid. You could show total net worth still, as well as total principal paid. On the short term, it's a little bit different. We could show the tax benefit of the products versus renting, rent versus the tax bracket, how much we're paying in rent and how much tax benefit we're receiving, or rent versus principal paid. So we'll talk a little bit more when we work with Edge Live on these. You also have your reinvestment strategy, just like you do on the TCA, if you want to be able to use that. And then property appreciation, I'm going to go ahead and put 3% to keep it consistent with my rent. Short term at 60, long term I'm keeping at 15. Let's move that back to total interest. We'll come back to the screen as we work with Edge Live, and you can see how you can make changes. Here you can put in an address, but I'm just putting in to be determined. Possibly you just want to put in the city and state, depending on if this is for a borrower or not, you know, keeping privacy. So anyhow, have that information there. Advance the screen. Put in your payment notes. This will let the borrower know about the taxes and insurance. I have all my products listed here. If I didn't want to show the conventional, I could remove it real quick. So this is a great generic report to build. You could copy it for new borrowers or new realtors or partners, and always modify and take off different products that that are offered in that area. So just want to be able to point that out. So now let's go to the last screen. Hover your mouse over presentation, go to preview. We're going to email the link. I have my quote date, and let's do a preview. And you can now see my report side by side. Okay, we cleared up the highlights. So now with it, what we're going to do is talk a little bit about the report. In the highlighting, I'm going to show you video, and then we'll switch over to mobile. So for highlighting different areas, so you can highlight the total payment to show the difference. You can also highlight the net monthly payment. If you provide them, so you have that. So different things you'll be able to highlight. And I'm highlighting by just taking my mouse over the field I want handed out, left clicking. Left click again, it removes that highlight. So before you send out a report, whatever you want them to sort of focus on, highlight it. And so when they open up, those fields are already marked. We also provide the cash to close, so you can see the differences between the cash to close on the different products, be able to explain that to them. Also, you can drill in, and we already discussed the difference in the product with the tax benefit and the principal paid. And just like the TCA, if you go into the more info, you have your payment breakdown. Great way to check to make sure you have that monthly cost in there correct for those products. Closing costs, you would have your fee details, which shows my reserves in here. And if I work with my reinvestment, I would see it here. So now let's go ahead and go back to Edge, and let's place a video on our report, and we'll also do that, walk through the same process on the mobile. On the mobile, you're able to not only record from the mobile, you can also upload a pre-recorded video, and that's great for follow-up. So you can always provide your Edge report, and when the loan's committed, you can provide a follow-up video in that report, so it tells them the flow. So what I'm going to do here is click on Add Audio Video, and you're going to see it's the same report, but the thing that is different here is in the lower left-hand corner, you have record message. So once you click on that, it's going to go ahead and ask you to record the message. I'm going to say yes to allow for my microphone. Hi everyone, I'm Lori. So with this is how you record from the desktop. So with that, you just want to be able to use, let's go ahead and show you. With that, you'll look at the base here. You have the record button, so I'll go ahead and click on that, and now you'll see that it's recording. So we have our play button. There's a pause, so if you want to be able to pause while you're recording, you're able to do so. Stop, and then if you want to remove the video, you just press that trash can. Those who don't have a camera yet, don't worry, do an audio still, and you can see right down here you can record audio only. So when you're recording a video, you want to be able to provide a little bit of information about you, give them a little history, also about the report. If this is directed to a partner, how you can both work together for the benefit of your mutual clients. Things like that you want to be able to do. On the mobile, you'll be able to actually walk around, so it's also different. You could be able to be in an open house, provide this presentation, and actually just walk around the house and talk. So it's actually quite cool. So this is a desktop version where it's just you're using the camera on the desktop. We'll show you a little bit the other option. So pressing stop, close out. So now there'll be a video on that report. So if you're using the iPad, it's syncing up and it will go ahead and be on the iPad shortly. So now let's go ahead and bring up my iPad and we'll start working in sync with it. And the one thing I could tell, I put in the link to this report in chat area, and I see that no one's looking at it. And the way I could tell is lower left-hand corner, 2 viewers. This is letting me know that no one has viewed the report except me on my mobile device. That is how you're able to also tell if the bar is following along. So with that, with Edge Live, you can see how I could drive the presentation. So what I'm also going to do real quick is open up a link, or I'm in a new tab. I'm pasting in a new link. And what I'm going to do is show you exactly the experience that the bar is going to have through Edge Live, how you can use this with your partner, and then as well as the borrower. But it's a great way to really be able to get your information to the borrower, reach out to it, and speed up that commitment time. So with that, first thing, the borrower clicked on the report and they're pressing I understand, and now they can review the report. You can see my video started. Let's go ahead and stop that, close it out. And now I have my iPad as well. So let's minimize this and put it in the corner. So now on the left-hand side, you can see that I have my report up, and the difference between the left and the right is the Clear All button. That Clear All button is going to allow me to clear out all my highlights at once. So I just cleared out my report. You can see it also cleared it out on the borrower's copy. So now if you wanted to talk to them about the FHA product, you can see how it went ahead and highlighted on the report itself. And then let me see, let me go out of here and make sure I have the right. If you're on a mobile, go to your Mortgage Coach app, and then in the area right here, you could go ahead and type in the link. So you can always backspace and then type in 16SGR9, and that will open up the report I'm working with. And you can see my videos on its way over. Okay, so we have that here. Let's click that off. Let's unclick the height. Let's talk about our VA. And you can see with it how it follows along with Edge, as well as driving the mobile device too. So you could drill into the more info buttons, and you can see how it will drive both the desktop. So if they're looking at the desktop, you're driving the report, be able to go into the closing costs, discuss the closing costs, and again, you're reaching out to the borrower, and this is what's different than sending your email and your Excel. You're being able to reach out and to be able to provide any kind of information to the borrower, answer any kind of questions right then and there. But not only that, you'll be able to go back into Edge And you can see what I'm going to do is change the number of months from 60 to 84. So if I log into my Edge account, go into my analysis screen where that field is, I'm changing 60 to 84. You can see I now have my video on my mobile device. It's been updated. Once I advance my screen here, let's move this over a tad so you can see it, the 60. Once I move the screen, that initiated my save, and will update my report. So you can see my report here already has updated, and now my borrower report has been updated. And if I open my iPad, that should be has updated as well. Well, not yet. It has the 60. So you can see how you could drive the report. You could go ahead and make any kind of changes, remove products, add products, all by talking on the phone. So I totally got Jamie lost. Okay, Jamie, let me know. Okay, perfect. Okay, everyone with the Edge Live. Okay, so this is what Edge Live does. And it's really beneficial if you click on the link as well and put it on a different monitor, because you can feel the experience as I talk. But with Edge Live, what I have done, let me close out a couple of these videos, a couple of my pages, and I logged out of Edge. Let's go back in. So with it, basically, with your preview, yes, for those of you on the Thursday class is a little bit fast-paced, and because it's more of a QA, but it's great that you're on here because you're seeing items that are done. But definitely go to the Friday class, because we walk through and we have you create a report at the same time. Tell us slow down, whatever it is, but the Friday class really gets into the nitty-gritty. And also those MC University classes, there is an Edge Live course on that one as well. Okay, so first with Edge Live, let's go ahead and bring up the screen so it's a little bit bigger for you to see. In Edge, you have a preview button. This preview button, I'm clicking on Generate Link, is the same as Edge Live button. So you can use either or. It provides the preview and also allows you to do Edge Live. So once I have that up and the report, I will know, whoops, let's pull that out. The report that you can click on for highlighting so you can reach the borrower, it will always have that Clear All button. If you do not see that Clear All button, you'll have a borrower's copy, which is the one on the right-hand side. There's no Clear All, and you can't do anything on that report. I can't highlight. So that's truly the borrower's copy. So that's the difference between the two. So if you have the borrower on the phone, click on the preview or Edge Live and pull your report up. What I had done is I took my link, I grabbed it from the share button in the lower right-hand corner, I copied it, and this is what you place in your email. This is what the borrower will click on to open your report and view it, or your partner. Then on the right-hand side, that's what I had done. I had pasted that link in here just so I'd be able to show you. If I had a mobile device or an email, I would just be clicking on that link. And once I do that, I also get that disclosure. That also tells me that this is the borrower's copy. And there's my video. So that's the difference between the two. And now if I press Clear All, you can see how all the highlights are removed. If you click on any field, it will go ahead and also highlight on their report as well, and also drive the report. So, okay, perfect. So with Edge Live, all I'm doing is, when you're talking to a client, all you want to do is have your Clear All, or your report up that has that Clear All button. This is how you can reach and talk to your borrower. The right-hand side here is the borrower, is your partner. So this is what they would be viewing. So I hope that helped you, Jamie. So you wouldn't have to have all three of these open. You would just have this one. And Linda got, oh yes, Linda. No, exactly, because it saves you time for creating a report for different purchase price. Yes, you could do that. We also have a copy function. So if you have certain reports you could copy, make slight modifications. So if you have one report for a particular realtor or partner for an open house, like say you did a rent versus own, you can easily copy that report because you already have the loan amounts and stuff, and then just change it for the borrower's information. So we do have ways of doing that. We do have a purchase strategy where it shows the various loan amounts for each of those products or different down payments. So we have a lot of different kind of strategies surrounded that as well, Linda. Okay, so now let's just really focus on the mobile, and now let's talk about the new features in the mobile where you could go ahead and record your video from the mobile device. So let me go ahead and bring that back. Yes, keep at it. And the one great, as you start learning Edge live, and once you do, you realize it's really simple. You're able to answer those questions if they want to see a different product, maybe see a different down payment. It's really easy for you to go to Edge, make that update, don't have to email anything back to them. So, okay, so now with the mobile, there's a couple of things on here that's slightly different. You could share the report. This is where the ID is. So if you click on Share Report, this is allowing you to take this report and email it or text it to a person. It's great at an open house or just to have a marketing one on your mobile device. So you would be able to, if you met someone, you can easily collect their information, email address or phone number, and then send them a report that has information about you and to be able to help introduce yourself. So that is the share button, and it's on all our report styles on both iOS and Android. So you have that there that you'll be able to use. Now let's go ahead and go back to the face of the mobile app. If you do not have the silhouette in the upper left-hand corner, you do not have the latest version. So if you do not have that, go to your app store, or if you have not downloaded the app, go to your app store, search for Mortgage Coach, download both RateWatch as well as the Mortgage Coach app, and then you can log in. So make sure you have that silhouette. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and press now. And you want to log in. So you use your Edge login. And you'll see a slightly different screen here. And you can drive Edge Live as well as doing video. So from here. So what I'm going to do is I've had 7 views today of one report. So this is that rent versus own report. I've been clicking it quite a bit. So let's go in the client to be able to take a look at our reports. We have 2 columns, and what this column does is what recent reports you have accessed. So if I was in Edge, let's go ahead and bring up the home page. And if I was in Edge, this column here is this column, the last accessed reports. You can also do a search, which is also the View All button in Edge. So you can search a report or your last access report. On the right-hand side, this is your last reports that have been viewed. Someone has clicked on the link and viewed your report. So if you click on that, your report will open up. So I want to point that out. The views, to know your views in Edge, is if you click on report tracking, you can see the number of views here. So let's go ahead and click on Lori, and I can view the report, video, or Edge Live. So let's go ahead and close out of that. So with it, that explains a little bit of those 2 columns. So now what we're going to do is go into my rent versus own report. So I have a couple different options for me to do. I could go ahead and do a total cost analysis. The rent versus own report, remember I told you could toggle which one? We created the rent versus own, so let's go ahead and choose that one. Now what do I want to do? Do I want to view the report? I want to shoot the video, so we're going to do that, and then we're going to go in live reporting. So I'm just go ahead and shoot the video, and then we have camera or album. So if you were doing an upload, you would go ahead and select the album. And if you're missing album, when you had come through in that login, there's a prompt for you to, if you want to use an album, it will direct you to it. So it's a prompt, yes or no. So you have camera or album. So I'll select camera. And you see, there we go. I have my iPad. And this is how you could just walk around. I guess nobody could walk around with me. So I'm going to change it. You see in the upper right-hand corner there. I'm changing it, so now, where is my, there we go. So with this, you'll be able to walk around. I'm in our green room. You can walk around in an open house flyer. I saw a report where the guy is just walking like this throughout and talking about his services. So you're not just tied now to the camera, so you can see my screen and my screen and my screen. So there we go, we're stopping. So that's how you'll be able to just record. You can go ahead and stop. I'm going to go ahead. You'll notice at, oh, you can't see it, but if you're using that video, in the bottom right-hand corner, it says use video. Right-hand side says retake. So you'll be able to go ahead and place a video on there. And I said retake, and now I'm canceling. You see my coffee cup? There we go. And it brings you back. So that's how you'd be able to place a video on your report through Edge Live. Uploading a video is great to be able to, after you have worked with the borrower, maybe create just a follow-up video, you know, introducing them. And if you listen to the coaching call, Nikki Groff talks about that as well. So it's a great way to be able to do a follow-up, to be able to provide it. And again, it's personal touch, especially with a lot of non-face-to-face meetings now. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and press done. And what we want to do, actually go back into it and let's work Edge Live. So let's go back to that rent versus own. And as I showed you on the desktop how we could work Edge Live, you can use it from your mobile device as well. So as I have it here, what I'm going to do is go into my summary area, and then I could start highlighting. You'll notice that I highlighted right here, and I'm just going down the list. I'm going to go ahead and click on my payment breakdown, and it's driving the report as well. You can see it over here. Let's go ahead and go back to the report. So this time I'm using Edge Live through my iPad. So I'm placing on my left side. I'm driving it here, and it's driving the report. I just clicked on payment breakdown, and it brought me to the payment breakdown tab. So now let's click on closing costs, and it will go ahead and switch to my closing costs. So if I look down pricing at the very base over here, you see fee details. If I click on that, you can see I drove it. So just like with Edge Live on the desktop, you now can do Edge Live on your mobile device. So if you're out and maybe there was an open house and the realtor had a question, a borrower's there, you can easily talk to them on the phone and drive the presentation. So that's what Edge Live will allow you to do, and it's a great piece to be able to work with your borrower, really educate them. They're going to make the loan commitment, they feel that trust, and really understanding their product. So that is Edge Live, and always with the spirit of TRID, know before you owe. It's a great way, again, mortgage education. So what I'm going to do now, we have 10 minutes left. I'm going to go in and show you how you can convert this to a total cost analysis. If you have any questions or any specific item you want to see addressed, put it in the question area. I could go ahead and address that for you. Let me go ahead and turn off my iPad. It's not letting me turn it. Okay. So let's go ahead, see if there's any questions. Not yet. Okay. So we're going to go back to our Edge account. I'm clicking on my rent versus own, and I brought up the report. And the reason for that, if this ever happens to you, go back to Edge, it's because I'm on report tracking. So this will just open up my report. Recent clients, click on rent versus own, and I'm going to the first screen, the client screen. So what I'm going to do is make it a TCA. And once I've done that, I advance my screen. This one's a little bit different, this screen. I want to mark it, purchase a new home. I no longer have my rent screen, but I want to put in my property amount. $300,000 was my sales price. So I added that, and that's it. Everything else carried over, whoops, and including my products. So what I'm going to do is jump to my presentation, preview, put on a quote date, click on preview, and now you'll see that we have the data from our rent versus own, and now we have a TCA. So it's really quick, and you can provide both of these. You can work with a partner on with the rent versus own, and then providing that to the borrower when you start working with them, and show them that total cost and be able to show them the savings over the 5-year period, which is that tip 5%, as well as the interest over 15. So this is a great way to be able to do both reports, provide a lot of information. Then I'm going to show you one other option to take these same products here and create an open house flyer. So Jamie, if you're still on the call, I know this is going to go a little quick, but I just wanted to be able to point out all the reports and how you can do it quick. So let's go to Edge, and what I want to do is go to each of my products, and I want to save a template. So I'm going to the very last one, and I'm saving as a template, and you can always, I'm just putting my description so I have this for my open house flyer. So put it on there. I'm doing the same for my third product. I'm faster than the computer. Same thing, we'll put in open house second product. And the same with the third, and we'll do it with the fourth as well. And you'll see that when I go into the open house presentation, I'm going to go ahead and copy an existing partner and start a new analysis and just plop in this these products rather quickly. So, and you'll see it's very fast to do. And you could save these as, you could save these as templates if you're already knowing that's what you want to do. And this works both ways. If you create an open house flyer, want to see those products in a TCA or rent versus own, save it as a template and go the opposite way. So either way. Unfortunately, Jeff, you're unable to convert an open house flyer to a TCA, and the reason for that is they actually have different flows in different fields. So that's the reasoning. But if you have a product and you do to save time and to go between a partner and a client, save the products like I have done, and then either with a TCA, if you've done it in the open house, you would just come to the TCA and then use your template. Use your template and then pull whatever product from here. It saves all the time. You're quoting the exact same information because your fees, your terms, your rates, everything will carry over. And let's see that. What I'm going to do is go to Home. I'm going to go to View All because I already have been working with a partner. I already have her information loaded. And I'm working with Liz. What I want to do is add an analysis. I already have her contact information in, but I want new products. So I'm adding an analysis. I say yes. You'll see Liz's contact information. If I go to contact, all her contact information as well as her image and logo. So that's a quick way on partner reports to start a new report with a partner and not having to upload their information all the time. Now if I go to products, go to our first product, and that was our FHA 3.5% down. Whoops. FHA. Now I'm going to my templates. First, before I do that, let's put in 300,000. You would find that open house template you just created, or going the opposite way, Jeff. You'll see that the down payment, the rate, term carried over. Advance the screen, my upfront carried over, my prepaid interest, if I had fees, it would have carried over, and my monthly cost carried over. So even though you can't copy a full report, this is a quick way of getting through that and creating a report with that same data. So adding another product, I believe my second product was a VA with 0 down. 0. Okay, same thing. Let's go. Whoops, I did that. 300,000 template, and let's find open house 2. See again, 0 down, 4%. It's marked VA. my MIP, my 15 days, and my monthly cost carryover. So that's a quick way to move products from one section to another. USDA, 300,000. And if I would have put in the 300 in my assumption area, that would have carried through. So open house 3, guarantee fee, 15 days prepaid interest, monthly cost, add another. So all your data will carry over. So that would be just a quick way of getting there, 5% down. 300. So I hope that helped, Jeff. So let's go hover over presentation. Let's take a look at our report. And you can see I don't have the pictures or anything about the property, but you can see how quick that was to be able to create the report with all those products, just as I have for the other one, TCA, and then you have a rent versus own. So all 3 of those reports have the exact same data just by using that copy from button. So perfect. Glad that helped. So with that, we're at the top of the hour. I'm going to go ahead and launch one more poll. Let me see. And I can't find it, so no poll for you guys. So with that, I'm going to stay on the line for a little bit. Oh, call me now. Okay. I am basically done with our training, but I'm sticking around for any kind of questions if you want to ask them. So Linda's asking, what does the call me now button? You'll see on the reports a green button, call me now. Let me go to a TCA, a call me now button here. So if I click on it, what this does is, before we're really with the mobile apps and having our reports directly on there and you could call from it, we have this feature. So if you're on the desktop, they could have clicked this, and it works similar to Skype. So they could go ahead, if it was a different name, so say they received a marketing piece, they could place their name, they could place a phone number in here, and they can call now. So basically it will work like a Skype process. It reaches out to the loan officer. If the loan officer picks up, has a little bit of, there is a little cost to it. You're welcome, Jeff. And then if not, what happens is it comes out with a scheduler. If you don't connect, it's a great way of using it as a tool, as a scheduler. If you connect, it does cost credits, and the credits are in your Edge account. If you go into settings, and you'll see, click the call, back to the end. We provide everyone 3 credits. If you make the connection, you'll see that 1 credit removes, 1 credit's added. You'll see the numbers here, but it's a really great way just to really more or less use that calendar. But now with the mobile, it's just really easy for them to pull up the mobile and call. So that's what the call me now button, and that is controlled in your Edge account. The very last screen in your file, enable call button. So if I did not want to see that call button, I would just go ahead and deselect it. And if I went ahead and actually, let's make it this way. Click on preview, and that green button's gone. So that's what it is. So any other questions that you have, let me know. And you're welcome, Linda. I'm glad for the questions. It's great to be able to get in there and really answer the questions you have. So as you're working with Edge this week, think of what you're doing and think of, is there an easier way of doing what you're doing? Let us know. Either email us to support, say I have a question on XYZ, let us know, because then we can take our trainings and we can focus it more on what you need to learn. And next week what we're going to focus on is a counteroffer. Okay, the counteroffer report. So that's next Thursday, and Linda wants to know how to add pictures of the home for the open house. Let's go back to my Edge account. Okay. So let's go back into Liz's report. And say I did quite a few files for Liz. I do want to point out, if you go into View All, Search, you can put Liz's name in, or if you do All, if you click that gray arrow, you can see all the different reports you have for Liz. So you can select that, but you can see that there's no names next to it. That's because the friendly name field was not used. So what I'm going to do is click on Liz's name, go into my partner, my first screen, and what I'm going to do is so now I have an identifier. Street address is perfect here. You'll know what the open house flyer and which property it's for. Moving to the next screen, property information here. Just place that in there with the property. Asking price, square footage, bedrooms, number of baths, link. But here's more features. Click on that. Identify different features in the home. You also have additional custom features down in this area here that you can type your own descriptions. And then in the next screen is where you upload the image. So you could go ahead and browse, and then you would just upload an image that you have into the account here. So that's how easy it is. We do have the option that you can upload 3 images. The reason for that is you can use have this file just like the TC and the rent versus own. You could create a seller buy down and an open house flyer. So you could use an image on each. So reasons for that. Okay, any other questions? Okay, it seems like it slowed down in there. Well, again, everyone, thank you very much for attending on Thursday. On Friday at 9 a.m., if you go into the events, you'd be able to go ahead and sign up for the Thursday class or the Friday class, which is more intro. And again, let us know how we can help you, what you would like to see on Thursday. So enjoy your day, everyone. Make it great.